Okay. Yeah, so let's start working with our Node.js middle tier application. Let's create a brand new project, and we'll create it. And I'm going to create a directory here where we're going to create our middle tier. So this is going to be webdev. 19 is going to be a server, and it's going to be Node. And if we go in there, the directory is empty. So once you install Node.js, you get at least two executables in your command line. One is Node itself, right, that allows you to run your JavaScript code locally on your server. The other executable that you get is npm, or Node Package Manager, right, npm. And npm is it's the equivalent of Java and Maven, MVN, right? That allows you to download and install libraries, allows you to build, allows you to run tests, allows you to do all sorts of things. We're going to be using it quite a bit. In particular, we're going to start using it now for initializing our projects. Okay? To create a brand new Node.js project, you create a directory, you go into that directory, and you say npm init. Right, so once you've done that, it's going to go in to ask you a couple of questions. What do you want to be called? By default, the name of the project will be the name of the directory. And ideally, this would be a unique name, right, in the npm repository. Right? So remember, npm allows you to create all sorts of Node.js libraries, create your own packages, and then you could share these packages with the community as an open source library. So ideally, your package would have a unique name in the community. Yes, right. So I'm going to keep the default name, version, description, entry point, tests, Git repository, keywords, author, me, license, and whatnot. Okay, so what it does is the npm init. The only thing that it does is that it creates one file, package.json, right? This package.json is a description of your project. Any dependencies that your project might have are listed here. Okay, we'll come back to it in a minute. But package.json is the equivalent as a POM file in Java, right? If you remember, in the POM file in the Java project, we declared any libraries that we needed, like MySQL connector. We declared in the POM file, right? We declare that our project depends on these other libraries, right? And to download those libraries and install them locally, we did Maven clean install. Yes. Here the same thing. We would do instead of Maven clean install, we would do npm install. And npm install would download any dependencies into our local file system, and it would be driven by this package.json. Make sense? All right. All right, so let's open this up in our favorite IDE. Let's say open and webdev. And I believe it's this one. And we have this package.json. Very good. Excellent. What else? Let's create here a simple hello. This is hello. And in hello, we can say, console log hello. Okay. Now this is code on our local machine, and we could just execute it by saying node space hello.js. Now this ran on our laptop, right, on our local machine, and it spit it out into the console. Very good, right? This is what you would expect, right? If this were be running on a browser, same thing. If you looked at the console in the browser, so nothing special here. The only thing what you need to keep in mind is that because it's running on the desktop, you don't get the browser. Anything that you were expecting from, you're running, creating your code in the browser, you're not running in a browser. You don't have the DOM, right? You don't have the alert boxes, right? You don't have there's no such thing as a jQuery here to grab any IDs or elements. There's nothing of that. Yes, there is no UI whatsoever. You just have the console. Okay, but what you lose in UI, you gain, and you have access to the entire file system. Right? You don't have any security issues of hitting any networks. Right? You don't have cores. You can hit any network on the internet, right? Because you don't have the restrictions of being running inside of a browser. Make sense? You have access to a database. You have access to everything, right? Still using the same, ES6 modules, imports, classes that we've come to love in JavaScript. Everybody okay? All right. Now, other than that, it's just plain old JavaScript, right? And JavaScript, we know it's not very interesting. Actually, no language is very interesting until you consider the community, until you consider all the libraries, you consider all the things, really awesome libraries that the community, open source community has created. Yes, and that's where the strength of any particular framework lies. So we're going to start looking at some of the frameworks that we're going to be using in Node.js, right, to make this much more interesting. Everybody good? All right.